Hi everyone. It's hard to find a person without a hobby. Almost everyone has one, whether it's watching a particular genre of series or collecting rare items. Sometimes a hobby can grow into a lifestyle and sometimes turn into a real obsession. People spend incredible amounts of money on them, isolate themselves from the outside world and change their life completely. Today, we'll tell you how an innocent hobby can turn into something much bigger. Let's get it on. Henry Rodriguez. Very often, a person who decides to get a tattoo comes back for more. Sometimes they even get a third or a fourth one, but in rare cases, body modifications can change a person beyond recognition. This is exactly what happened to a guy named Henry Rodriguez from Venezuela. With the help of body modifications, he decided to transform into one of the characters from the Marvel comics. Not into Captain America or any of the other superheroes as you might think, but into one of the bad guys, the Red Skull. According to Henry and his friends, this has been his dream since childhood. Rodriguez was determined to make it come true as well. Transformation into a Marvel villain cost him $38,000. He not only got tattoos on the face and put implants under the skin, but also had to remove the nose. The transformation happened gradually, and over the years, Henry stopped looking like an ordinary person. All the procedures he went through took about 130 working hours. Herbert Chavez. Here is another story of an insane love of comics. This time it'd be the DC universe. Herbert Chavez from the Philippines has been a Superman fan since childhood, and that would be okay, but with age this obsession grew even stronger. He started with collecting comics and things that had something to do with the legendary character. For several years in a row, he even held a Guinness World Record for having the largest collection of Superman memorabilia in the world. However, this was just not enough for Herbert. He decided to become a real-life Superman and went through many surgeries and procedures for this. Since Herbert looked nothing like the idol of American culture, he had to change the shape of his nose, chin, eyes, cheekbones, and lips to be more like Superman. He also injected a special substance under his skin called glutathione to lighten the tone. In addition, Herbert also had abdomen liposuction and put fillers in the buttocks to look more buff. Alas, the effect of liposuction does not last forever, as many people think, so he has to repeat the procedure over and over again. However, the Philippine Superman plans to use permanent abdominal implants and say goodbye to this issue once and for all. The only thing Herbert never managed to change is his height. He's a few dozen centimeters short of the goal. Still though, the result of the transformation is still pretty impressive. Julian Lowe. The story of this guy proves that you don't need plastic surgery to transform into your favorite hero. Julian Lowe, a stunt double, has spent more than 1 year perfecting his body. He's seeking to become Trunks, a warrior from the anime series Dragon Ball Z. And as Julian puts it, turning into a beloved hero is not a way to get famous, as is often the case. Since childhood, this series was a kind of inspiration for him, and the transformation into Trunks was the path to self-improvement. Indeed, Julian had to work out a lot and gain a whole bunch of muscles, so he took up active gymnastics and acrobatics. And of course, the image would be incomplete without spectacular purple hair and a bright suit. According to Julian, he never stops improving himself, and his image as Trunks, he has to keep working out all the time. Overall, being Trunks cost him about $5,000 per year. Stellark. This Australian performance artist became famous for his crazy body experiments. He made films about what's happening inside the human body, hung himself on hooks, attached a third hand to his right one, and a few years ago he even got an extra ear, and not even on the head, but right on his forearm. He first thought of growing a new ear on his body back in the 90s. However, he had to work hard to find brave doctors who were ready for such experiments. In 2006, doctors installed a porous biocompatible polyethylene ear-shaped prosthesis in his forearm and then snugged his skin down over it. Initially, they tried to grow this prosthesis in an incubator with the help of the real cells from Stellark's ear, but later they went for an artificial analog. But why did he want to do that, you might ask? Well, this isn't a usual prosthesis. Stellark hears quite well despite being 73 years old. The whole project was started by the artist in the name of art and for the sake of other people. If his idea works, the ear will turn into a remote listening device. Anyone would be able to listen to the sounds surrounding Stelarc over wireless networks. However, in order to do this, you'd need to implant a microphone in the ear, which is almost impossible to do without external wires, batteries, and circuit boards. In theory, this is possible, and Stelarc already did this, but making the microphone miniature and invisible on the body is very difficult. That's why a project that already took several decades is still under development. Elaine Davidson. It is scary to imagine what happens when this woman passes through a metal detector at the airport. Elaine Davidson from Brazil, who's long been living in the Scottish capital of Edinburgh, has almost 10,000 piercings on her body. To be precise, 9,800. Well, the number might have already changed by now, because it's always growing exponentially through her life. Elaine was mentioned in the Guinness Book of Records as the most pierced woman back in 2000, and has since held this title. Back then, she had only 462 piercings. The total weight of her piercings is estimated to be about 3 kilograms. Elaine has other exotic hobbies too, walking on hot coals or sleeping in a bed with nails or broken glass. By the way, in 2011, Elaine married Douglas Watson, a modest-looking man who doesn't have a single piercing on his body. However, the marriage did not last long. The next year, the couple divorced. It's unknown whether the unusual passion of Elaine was the reason. Fifi doll. Perhaps many little girls would love the interior of the room in this video. It really does look like a dollhouse. In fact, the room really is a dollhouse, because the girl from London has adopted an image of a fragile porcelain doll, inspired by the trends of Japanese street fashion. The girl calls herself Fifi, and claims that her lifestyle reflects her personality perfectly. In other words, with her outfits and makeup, the girl doesn't try to be like someone else, but expresses herself. Almost 100% of her clothes are pink, which she considers a color of joy and positive vibes. Family and friends support Fifi's hobby and don't see anything wrong with it. Russ Fox. This guy from Vancouver took the transformation to the next level. In this video, you can see him opening the door of his house with one movement of his hand, all thanks to smart chips implanted under his skin.
Wake up the bike, I introduce my chip to the sensor.
This makes him look like a modern cyborg, together with hundreds of different body modifications like horns under the skin and a split tongue. Russ has been working in the piercing industry for many years. At some point, he decided to use his skills to expand human capabilities. He began to develop various devices that could be implanted under the skin to make his daily routine easier. One example is a chip to unlock a home safe, implanted directly into the wrist. So far, Russ has been successful with his modifications, and perhaps in a few years, similar modifications can be available to other people. The ethics of such procedures is still disputed today though. Christian Real. Since childhood, the mermaid princess Ariel has been the favorite fictional character of Christian Real from the US. His last name, Real, even sounds similar. With age, the passion for the famous Disney character did not go away, and the college student firmly decided to transform into his idol. He had to spend a lot of money to do this though, almost $1,500. To become a little merman, he simply put a tailor-made tail on, but this was enough to shock the public. Of course, people have a different reaction to a merman swimming near the Florida coast, from condemnation to delight. But Christian says that he feels comfortable and natural in this image. The only problem is that after a long swim in the silicone tail, his ankles start to hurt a lot. Eva Tiamat Medusa. Of all the people we've mentioned today, this woman endured the largest number of modifications. Eva used to be a vice president of a large American bank and lived a normal life. However, a medical diagnosis changed her life once and for all. Eva decided that she didn't want to die as a human because people, in her own words, were the cruelest of all species. The woman's dream was to become a dragon. At first, Eva decided to cover her whole body with tattoos, and after that, she did several surgeries. Within a few years, she removed the auricles, split her tongue, changed the shape of her nose, put implants under her skin, removed most of her teeth, and colored her eyes green. All this cost the Dragon Lady almost $80,000, and she's not going to stop there. By 2025, she wants to become even more like a mythical reptile. Psst, Dude, are you looking for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description. You interested? Great.